Well, here we go, guys. Hurricane Milton is getting ready to make landfall, and tornadoes are wrecking Florida at an alarming rate. I've been watching some different videos online, and there are tornadoes that are sprouting up everywhere. Now, as to where, this is to be expected, I didn't think it was going to be so many. Hopefully, everybody is in place. If you have not evacuated, hunker down. Make sure that you are staying safe, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Coffee Rant with Dano and Frank, our Patriot Bald Eagle. If you have to hit pause on this video to get your coffee or whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will be a lengthy discussion. So over the last couple hours after I got back from one of our shopping videos, I wanted to pay a little close attention of what's going on down in Florida. We've been keeping in contact with our family and friends and you guys. We're trying to make sure that everybody is safe. At least from our end, it does look like our family is out of the way of at least the Gulf side. Some have moved inland, some have driven as far as Atlanta, Georgia. This is crazy times, guys. This is a storm of the century, like literally. The last time one of these hurricanes had such an impact near Tampa, which we'll go into that here in a minute, was 1921, 103 years ago, 103, 104 years ago, give or take. And it is one that people are not messing around with. One thing that I want to talk a little bit about is the tornado activity. I know Florida gets tornadoes, especially when hurricanes come through. But the scary thing is that there's been a lot of people, a lot of news reporters, and it's all over online, that have been giving their news reports, and then a tornado just pops up out of nowhere. There's a couple, I don't know what news station it was, but this person was given their news report, weather report, and then a tornado sprouts up on this bridge right behind them. So if you're watching this right now, be careful. I know landfall is going to be, they're not actually, it's looking like later tonight. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, so we're going to pay attention to that. We may actually do another video. I'm not really sure. I had thought about going live. I don't know. If you want to maybe see a live show, let us know down in the comments. I'm going to get this video out as early as possible. Just wanted to talk, about some of the things going on. First of all, I want to talk about this new coffee that I'm drinking right here to add some light in a dark subject here. This coffee, it's Peet's Coffee, but it's called Off the Grid. Off the Grid coffee. It's actually really good. Really good. It's a medium roast. Needed something a little strong for this conversation. It's been a nightmare for a lot of people, guys. I know we follow a lot of different YouTubers down in Florida, and they, a lot of in Orlando, which you think being in central Orlando, you would be safe, but I'll tell you what, I mean, it looks like these storms are going to be pretty bad there. We've seen evacuations from Daytona, St. Augustine, Titusville, so people on the back end are heeding the warnings as well. It looks like that has gotten bigger as far as hurricane warning goes, or hurricane, everything going on with the initial blast as it's making its way out of here. Seems like it's going to be almost just as bad as it making its way in here, because as it goes out to the East Coast, it's looking like it's going to pick up again as far as wind speed and that as it moves its way out. I guess the fortunate thing is that it moves out and it will be away from the United States. It will be out to sea, which is looking like tomorrow afternoon. It's not as fast moving as I thought it was going to be. When this thing barreled up here pretty quick, and then the winds had slowed down, the pressure had slowed down, pressure has been gaining, which is, I guess, in a way, somewhat good. We see it right now as of 4 o'clock, Wednesday afternoon, September 9th, 2024, just for point of reference. It's looking like it has slowed down a little bit. And what I was talking about at the beginning of this video was it looks like it's going to hit a little bit south of Tampa, but they're still not calling it that. So we're just going to have to play it by ear here, or play it how we see it. I don't know if that's going to make it any less damaging. They were saying if it moved just north of Tampa, that would be the most damaging. So I guess that's a little bit of a good sign, that if it stays a little further south, but it's not good for like Sarasota. Jessica seems to think that it's going to hit Sarasota dead on. And that is a lot where our family lives. Luckily, they are out of there, though. We keep getting questions from viewers because you've watched videos from us in the past where we've been in Sarasota with family and Clearwater and that, and they are off the Gulf Coast. They have moved away. They have evacuated. Thank goodness. Because this is crazy times, guys. And I know I haven't been covering, a lot of the things like I normally do, but I want to make sure that however many people we can reach in these videos that we're talking about. We have thousands of viewers in Florida, and we want to make sure that, not everybody's safe, but to know that we are thinking about you. If nothing else comes out of this video, know that we are thinking about you, praying for you all day, every day, and that this has as less of an impact as possible. This is a scary thing. We knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be when we saw the double storm connection. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you happen to miss our video from a couple days ago when we were covering this, we saw the Irma reaction where it literally looked like two hurricanes as they were forming together to get bigger in the Gulf. Now, as to where the Irma did not come from the Gulf side, it came up from the Atlantic side into the U.S. But it formulated about the same way as this one has. And I was like, this is going to be bad. I knew this was going to be bad. And sure enough, everything's closing in Orlando, so don't worry about that. There's been a lot of talk about things staying open. Nothing's staying open. Everything is under emergency preparations. Everything is underway. Disney World is closed. Universal is closed. SeaWorld is closed. They are all closed. Wanted to make sure that they were taking care of their employees and everybody who stayed behind to help customers, visitors, that they were able to have safe space as well. I mean, I do think they handled it quite well. And Floridians know a lot of what to do, during these kind of events. But this one seems a little dark. This one seems worse than some of the other ones that we've seen. Now, obviously, we're still praying for everyone through the Helene. Okay, we don't want to forget about all the damage caused from Helene. Many families that are going to spend a long time building themselves back up to where they were before. It was absolutely devastating. We do not want to forget about anybody from Helene, and we want to make sure that we're paying close attention to this as well, because this will hit parts that Helene was already affected. Now, I guess in some ways, fortunately, it's not making the same direct path that Helene did, or this would be... I don't know, guys. I don't like speaking ahead of everything here. I just want to make sure everybody's prepared, planning. The time to prepare is pretty much over, though. By the time you see this video, you will either have been out of there or you will be in the thick of it. And if you're in the thick of it, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And, don't do anything crazy. I've kind of been listening to advice from other meteorologists on YouTube, like Ryan Hall. Y'all, it's always good to listen to these guys. They really know what they're doing. And having the Weather Channel on, as I know, the Weather Channel can kind of bend things a certain way sometimes, but they do give some pretty good advice on different preps, ways to, things to have in your emergency bins. One of them actually mentioned pool noodles, and I thought that was kind of funny because we were talking about that the other day. And there's going to be a lot of storm surge on the Gulf Coast, whether it's a few feet or whether it's 10 feet or whether it's 15 feet. Anything above a few feet sounds like it's going to be pretty devastating. So you want to make sure you have your flotation devices and stuff like that. I was talking, some people like hospitals and stuff like that. I'll tell you what, guys, this is where it kind of gets ugly, because it's like some of these hospitals have to stay open. These people have to stay, if they're on oxygen or these kind of things, like they have to stay behind. You can't go without these things. Now, hopefully they've gotten I don't know how they've really handled it. I just know from what I've heard on the news, and that some of these places just have to stay open. They have to stay hunkered down. And I'll tell you what, that's a scary situation. So, prayers out to everyone, all of our doctors and first responders, prayers for them as well. It looks like National Guard is moving in from many different states, which is good to see. We know they're coming down from Ohio, as we talked about yesterday. And I think they're handling this as good as they can. I think they're handling the storm as good as they can. This is a destructor. I don't really know how to say that, but it looks like when they're coming out and saying, no, you need to go or it's over for you. That's a pretty strong message, as we were talking about what the mayor of Tampa said. And I believe she said that just because, as a leader of the city, you want to make sure that you're putting the direct message out there. Like, no, if you don't leave, this is going to happen and it's not going to be good. And at first it's kind of shocking, but then you start thinking about it. It's like, well, the seriousness of this storm is here, guys. And I'm going to try and get this video out here, like I said, before this thing makes landfall. I have thought about doing a live show. Let me know if you guys want to sit around and chat for a live show tonight. I am willing to stay up later as this thing goes on. We can sit and chat about it, talk about things going on. Maybe if we can give some different live reports on things, it might, maybe even if we're just live to help comfort people who are sitting at home in this storm, because I know some of our viewers on here are going to be in the storm, and you just want to be careful. You want to be careful. You want to make sure you're staying away from windows. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, to you guys. I know Floridians know all this stuff, but it's like we want to just dot our I's and cross our T's here. Make sure that every little bit that you may have forgotten, another reason why I've thought about doing a live show in case any of our viewers, any of our thousands of viewers are watching while this is going on. Maybe we have some people on here that can give some good advice as to where to me, I kind of think, a lot of the advice that I try to put out here is just stuff that, just preparations. But the time to prepare is pretty much over. You need to make sure that you have everything together, have all of your affairs in order. And what I mean by that is your phone charged, different charging ports, all the things that you need to have, important papers, cash. Hopefully you've gotten cash out by now. Because it might be too late for that. It might be too late for gas. And I would just be ready to hunker down for a couple days. We will continue to update on this, and we'll have reports from our viewers. Make sure if you are one of the ones on our channel who are directly involved in this, let us know what you're seeing. Let us know what's going on. Let us know that you're safe. And we'll continue to talk about these things. I have some other videos coming up here in the next couple days, but I will continue to bring announcements in those videos as well. So make sure you subscribe down below. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything. And that's really all I got right now, guys. It's, here we go. Here we go. The storm is getting ready. The storm is hitting now off of the Gulf Coast. As far as the high winds and crazy rain that I've been seeing. And it looks like the eye wall, the sustained over 100-mile-an-hour winds will be hitting later tonight. And I may or may not do a live show. We'll see what happens. I also want to make sure that we are, again, keeping all of these people in our thoughts and prayers, because this is a nightmare scenario, a nightmare. And this doesn't just affect Florida. This affects all of us, because like I said yesterday, all of us know somebody that lives in Florida, whether it's a family, friend, you guys. We know thousands of people on our channel that live in Florida. And it looks like in some way, shape, or form, this is going to affect no matter where you live in Florida in one way or another. Maybe some a lot worse than others, but let's just have, prayer. Just make sure that, you are being safe. Do the things that you need to do. Couple things, people are talking about, if it gets too crazy, if things are breaking, everything, maybe get your pillows, stuff yourself around with pillows, maybe your bed. Somebody mentioned getting in a tub, kind of like in a tornado. That's been a big thing here. Lots of tornadoes, guys. Tornadoes kind of erupting, kind of forming all over Central Florida, even South Florida, and some of these water sprout things that are coming up that could easily rip into the coast as well. Now, by the time you guys see this video, we're going to be closer and closer to the eye of the hurricane. So we need to pay attention to all this stuff, but make sure you have everything ready. I know the warnings and everything have been about the hurricane, and we need to make sure that we're, make sure, because these tornadoes apparently with these high winds and everything can sprout up like nobody's business. So make sure we're paying attention to these things as well. We'll see if I go live. If I go live, I will try to put out something maybe a half hour before time so everybody knows. It could be a last minute thing where I just go live anyway. If I do, it probably wouldn't be till later tonight, like 9 p.m. Eastern time, or maybe even a little later. But I will stay on. If I do, I'll stay on for a good hour or two, just so that we can talk about what's going on. But let us know down in the comments if you would be interested in something like that. Not sure if I'm going to do it yet, but if we do, I will try to give as much notice as possible. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.